Derby Day was a brilliant start to the Melbourne Cup Carnival. The Golden Eagle was spectacular. We are counting down to the Melbourne Cup, which will be run tomorrow. We bring our spring racing means test together. Whateley and Giddy Up, Gerard Whateley and Gareth Hall. We welcome John O'Neill and Wayne Hawkes into the studio. John, welcome.
Good morning, Gerard. What a day, hey? What a day. We saw some wonderful rides. We saw some disastrous situations eventuate. But Flemington turned it on. It was absolutely wonderful. I know the numbers were great. I know that everyone who was at the track really enjoyed themselves. And I think post-COVID, it was the first real sort of vibe when everybody was back and weather turned on. It was unbelievable.
Wayne, hello.
Morning, everybody. What a great day. Racing was the big winner, to be fair. Gee, there was some great stuff happened there at Flemington on Saturday. And as a person that wasn't involved until race 8 and 9, I was just standing back with you and I didn't want to leave. I genuinely didn't want to leave the box with you because we're just having so much fun and watching all these 10-1 winners knock all the punters out. It wasn't much fun from... Did a favourite win? How many favourite? One, yeah. Was it? One was it? Right.
It didn't have anything to do with the people throwing tomatoes at the glass at you with some of the people you were
They were throwing
We'll
that at Matt Hill. They were throwing that at Matt Hill. He was in the box next door. It wasn't me.
So I don't think Wayne understands what's something for the battlers.
He doesn't get it.
No. So you're tipping us winner after winner after winner. Well, Wayne's having winner after winner.
You're on my side.
Jared's never been a battler like you and I.
You told me once, don't attack your own. You were just straight into me 30 seconds in. When Gareth first started, did I not say to you, one of Gerard's rules is do not attack your own. Yeah, good morning, G.
No, we're Wild Planet
get
One.
away.
Oh, what's going on here? The racing means test is for the ultimate Melbourne Cup Day at the Osborne South Yarra and My Racehorse. It's showtime, myracehorse.com. Gareth, hello.
Hello to you, Jared.
Wind us up with the King's Gambit.
Well, I thought it was a great day because when you have a look at the storylines that only racing can produce, there's heartbreak and then there's joy. And you saw Damien Oliver in his final Derby day have 2 winners. Jamie Carr bounces back and she's such an important part to the racing industry. And it was great to see her get some confidence back at the start of the Flemington Carnival. J-Mac got a winner with Riff Rocket. And Timmy Clark, I thought, showed his class with 2 beautiful front-running rides. And then just racing, and then we had the Golden Eagle and the drama there with the Japanese winning, and then Pride Amelia's Jewel absolutely getting decked, and I think she would have won that race. And then when you wake up on a Sunday morning and you see all of the papers and you watch the news services that racing, and I'd like to get your thoughts on this, Jared, but it was front and centre. It was on the front and back page. I think it had 27 pages in the papers there yesterday. And
27?
I thought of you straight away, and I thought, well... that's terrific for the sport, and it is the talk of the town at the moment in Melbourne town. So I think it's been a really good weekend for the sport of thoroughbred racing.
What makes the Melbourne Cup Carnival unique is if you're in Melbourne, you're surrounded by it, you're drawn into it. As you can go to London in the week they run Royal Ascot, and if you're not there for the races, you wouldn't know. No. This is what makes the week so special here. It's why the race has always held such a place. The most striking aspect to me visually on Saturday was there were 73,000 people there, and just the number wearing black and white. So this is a sophisticated crowd who go to the races to dress up it's a special occasion to be part of it. The traditional colours are black and white, and whether it was in the public or the members or the corporates, that's what people were doing. That's people who know what it is and they want to go and be a part of it.
And there was only one person I saw with shorts on.
Oh, was it?
Oh, you saw one? I didn't see
one.
One
in the birdcage.
Right.
One person with shorts.
Okay. Well,
who was that, mate?
It wasn't you, Johnny.
Definitely wasn't
That's
me.
an early 09.
Yeah.
All right, so we'll do the heroes from the Derby because it was a great race.
Yes.
So the big issue is I'm torn in 3 different directions. So you guide me. Was it Pip and Jane dancing around each other at the after party? Was it the Free Palestine dress or was it the pantless Pip Edwards, and whether really that's acceptable in the birdcage? So that's some of the reporting around
the
it.
Pantless Pip Edwards.
Yeah.
You've got to feel the people in that don't know about this because this sounds a bit weird.
It's a see-through skirt.
Okay.
And whether that really is racing attire or not. But anyway, you can sample all of that, and there's
what's the problem?
People offering. Was Derby Day marred by an extreme leader bias that we don't normally see at headquarters?
I had a chat to James McDonald about this yesterday. I don't think it was necessarily the track bias. It was the wind that played havoc, that caught the jockeys off a little off guard in a way because it was a funny old win there on Saturday, and they were running into a headwind when they turned for home down the big Flemington Straight. So I think a couple of the riders like Clark and Declan Bates definitely got their timing right. They took the breather at the right time, and then they put the foot down and made it hard for horses to come off the speed and then chase hard into a headwind like that. And I think that the win also got a few jockeys off guard in a way when to push the button, Johnny, because a lot of them let a few of these leaders get in front. And I think the margin was just too big for some of them.
I think the mile race, the Group 1 that Tony the race that Tony and Lynn won.
Pride of Jenny. Yeah.
I mean, just an extraordinary result for them.
Yeah.
But what a power horse. And I had a good chat with James yesterday as well, and he just said that in his perspective, the horse had gone that hard. He knew it was an iron horse. He just sat up on a tissue and thought it was going to go whoosh. Right?
Yeah.
But just couldn't pick the horse up. So I think at the end of the day, let's take our hats off to the jocks using their initiative and riding the track and the conditions the way they did.
What he was doing in the Archer then?
Same thing.
Well, we wrap him up, but I mean, when he rides a bad one,
I
didn't think it was a bad ride. It was terrible.
No, I think J-Mac. I think
it's at 174 races for 2 wins. The horse.
I think J-Mac sitting back doing nothing. Let's be fair about it.
I think J-Mac would put his hand up. He got
touchable.
that wrong with the Athabasca, and he should have got on his bike.
Of course, what I did say to him is I only hope that he had done that in the derbies, so Sunset said have hung on, but that didn't work out for me.
No.
Anyway. Is it Flemington? I spoke to Gareth off here yesterday, obviously, and he was saying, he told me what J-Mac had said, because we started talking about the bias, and one thing that Flemington, in fairness, it doesn't generally have a bias.
It was like being back in the 90s.
It's very rare. The bias that Flemington used to have was the old track, the inside versus the outside. I mean, one was 1,000 miles quicker than the other one, whereas since the new track's been built, most of the jockeys come up the guts. They come right up the middle. We rarely see them ever split anymore. And if they do, and if they go to split, they'll go for 2 furlongs. Then all of a sudden the goose is on the wrong side or just decide to cross paths and go back the other way. So we don't generally see. And I mean, as you and I said, Gerard, after the Coolmore, I mean, it was weird. I mean, it was just like everything was in flight mode, and just how they were at the 500 was just how they went to the winning post. And there was not one horse that made 1 ounce of difference. I mean, and that's just looking at it visually. If you looked at the sectionals, I bet you they were nearly all the same. How they all ran home. So it probably does make some sense with the win, because Flemington and you know what, we stir the hell out of Liam, because I mean, have a look at Wednesday. It's going to pour with rain on Wednesday. It'll be just cushioned just beautifully for Oaks Day after a 30-degree day at Flemington on Melbourne Cup Day. He gets it right nearly every time because he goes for the 1%ers. He goes for remember when Dennis Pagan said the 1%ers? He does that. He goes over and above, I think, any other curator, and really, really tries hard. And that's not me being sucky. That's me being genuine about it. So to look at that day and think, wow, how did that happen? Maybe it was the win.
So, Gerard, the 7 winners of the 9 came from Sydney trainers. Is that a concern for the Victorian trainers?
No, I just think that usually is the beauty of Flemington. You come together and fight it out and see where the best form has been. And yes, sometimes I don't think that's the parochial battle going on at the moment. I think the parochial battle we'll get to shortly, because the best race of the day was in Sydney. The heroes from the Derby. So uncanny, just as in the Cox Plate, James McDonald does the Hayes boys in.
Yeah. And it was a great ride too by J-Mac. And Riff Rocket, there was a question mark whether he would stay, and I think Chris Waller was able to train him to the minute to get the distance in a Victoria Derby. And he's a good horse, Riff Rocket. We all know that, how far he can go. That the Derby winners haven't got a great record going forward, Gerard. But Apulia was mighty in defeat on the 3-week backup, trained to the minute by the Hayes boys, and they did something a little bit different, and they had to do it because they had that setback earlier on in the spring with Apulia. But they've just gone up to another level, the Hayes boys, from a training perspective. They've been so close in 2 big grand finals, but they're exceeding, I think, everybody's expectations with the way that they've been able to handle the situation as the bosses of Lindsay Park.
The thing I wanted to add too is, if you have a look at the race, our horse Sunsets drew 16. Johnny Allen was so confident with the horse running first 3. So for him to push forward from 16 and be brave enough And to find ourselves one off the fence running sixth after we've travelled a furlong and a half, it was just an extraordinary ride. He gave our horse every opportunity and just beaten by two better horses on the day, but we think our horse sort of handles a bit softer ground than what there was on the weekend. So looking forward to the autumn with him and maturing, and he'll get his chance either in a South Australian derby, I suppose, or an AJC derby.
So Deb Kapitas was on just a little earlier. So he's not a 2,500 metre horse, Riff Rocket. So he won that on class. He's not going to be that sort of stage. He's going to be a 2,000 metre horse. So he does fit into that. Be interesting to see if he can have a career of substance, because it hasn't been the way for Derby winners recently.
It was good that the Derby ended up the way it ended up, because I initially thought Derby was the question mark race, wasn't it? We were all talking the Coolmore up more than the Derby, and then you think Cox Plate, you think Caulfield Cup, and all of a sudden, you know what? Sydney are boo-hooing us with their better money, but we are winning with the great horses clashing at the right time. And you know what? Some of these horses aren't great, but the thing is, we're actually making these horses great. And there's been some great stories. Romantic Warrior just, it got busted at Flemington, then it just turns it around, and we're boo-hoo, not boo-hooing the Derby, but I mean, it's lacking something. So having a great finish like that, I think, just brought it to another level. But we talk about the horses in Sydney, we talk about the jockeys in Sydney, but we don't talk about the trainers. Chris Waller, he was obviously in Sydney on Saturday. He wasn't there for Very Elegant when she won the Melbourne Cup, and so you want everyone to be there. You know what I mean? I know it's not going to happen anymore, but you know what? You do want everyone there on those big days, and you look around, you stand the mountain enclosure and go, wow, everyone's here.
Yeah,
that's what you want.
So that's the debate. The best race of the day was the Golden Eagle, just for sheer drama and for the lashings of controversy and for the Japanese raider winning and furthering the ambition of the race. That's 5 years in and it's enshrined. So 7 years in for the Everest. So Pete's pop-ups are killing it.
I think his two pop-ups are the Everest works, and so does the Golden Eagle now. The pop-ups say the invitation doesn't work the week before for mine. And I guess the Giga Kick will build momentum because...
The invitation was a better race than the Empire Rose.
100%, but it didn't. Is it worth having that race on for $2 million? It didn't really grab my attention. I didn't turn up to the pub Saturday night and go, did you see the invitation? Because the invitation to work needs those Empire Rose horses there as well. But the Golden Eagle works because it's different. It's a 4-year-old race, and it adds a little bit of intrigue, and it now attracts some international stars, like the winner from Japan. The story of the race was how well Amelia's Jewel went. Now, she went down, but she earned so much respect from that performance there after getting decked, and her concluding stages of that race was remarkable.
Yes, I'm sorry. I called her the Perth pony.
Well, she was.
And you know what? To be fair, I was wrong with her. I didn't think she'd come off the canvas. I don't know many people that did think she would. Obviously, the connections did, and they got it right, because if she didn't win, she just gets beat.
Unbelievable. But the problem with that, I don't know.
She did her job. First time in Sydney, everything like that. Good on her.
What's ridiculous watching that race, and I've seen a little bit of interference in the Golden Eagle now over the last couple of years, is that how can you have 20 horses in a race like that over 1,500 metres at Rose Hill?
Yeah, I don't think we need that many.
No, there's going to be a serious accident that will happen.
Enough.
12 or 14. There's too many horses wanting to get to the same part of the track there, and there's too many horses, 20 horses in a race like that.
I think the other big debate is, of course, that these international horses come in and start taking all the prize money. So we aggressively look for international staying horses, as everybody knows, and we buy them consistently. We're all potting the Derby. Well, I don't know where else the young horses from a yearlings perspective and a ready-to-run perspective are supposed to go and start to develop into sort of Melbourne Cup horses. So, and then the Japanese horse comes and takes the Golden Eagle out. We've had a Hong Kong horse come and take the Cox Plate out. So the challenge is...
Yeah, but we don't mind going over there, though.
No. Look, I'm all for... I mean, I'm a big supporter of it. I'm just saying that we continue to talk back
slow horse last year,
about bringing...
This year to Royal Ascot?
Yeah, we did.
And you got $4.5 million on the way out. You are the best, you are.
But all I'm saying is I think the point is that we want to make these races international, right? So let's all embrace the fact that's the case. The Melbourne Cup is going to be dominated by international horses unless we support derbies and put more staying races on for young horses. And we're already seeing some of the horses that are going to run in the Melbourne Cup this year that are internationals have qualified by winning the effective 2,700 metre maiden in Ireland or something and come over, because we don't run those races here to qualify them. So the challenge is we need to either sit back and have a look at the breeding processes that we have here, which we talk about, have a look at the yearling sales, have a look at the ready to runs, and start to program some
You
of
are
those
right.
races
You're
so they
completely
can
right.
qualify to get in the Cup.
And the difference is too.
These horses going around 80 to 1,
We
Gerard,
had
100 to 1.
this big run, I reckon, from a couple of years ago to about 10, 12 years ago, where everyone wanted a colt. No one wanted a geld. You rang up someone and said, mate, I'd love to geld your horse, or I'd not love to. I want to geld your horse. There was just silence on the end of the phone. And then I'd just jokingly, if I'm talking to Johnny, let's say, I'd go, Johnny, I'm not asking to geld you. I'm asking to geld your horse.
Thank God Jane gelded you, mate. That's all I got to say.
Johnny did.
And then you'd go into the look. To be fair, you spay your animals at home, so it's the same principle. So it's not like it's a bad thing. I mean, there's only 0.1% get to stud from a stallion's point of view. So breeders look at it going, I want 2-year-old, I want speed. But you get to this time of the year and you just go, holy Toledo, we just want all these stayers. It's a bit like, I mean, we can't have a yearling sale because the horses have turned 2. But if we had a sale 2 or 3 weeks ago, it would be going gangbusters.
Yeah, it would.
Wouldn't you mean that some Magic Millions would be fighting for that sale because it's right in the middle? I don't know what sale we could
tell
have.
you what I think is going to happen. The international guys that are bringing horses over that are qualified for the Melbourne Cup, and we saw Peter, who's in Future History, put 10% of the horse online for sale. I think you're going to start to see that because people are impatient. They want to have horses in the Cup. And if you've got horses that are qualified that are going to be in sort of the top 10 or 15 in the market, to put up 2 or 3 of those horses with 10 and 20% available and get a syndicate of 30 or 40 people to all put in $5,000 or $10,000 to have a Cup runner, the people that do that are going to make really good money out of this a week leading into the Melbourne Cup.
Yeah, so there's 20 out of the 24 Melbourne Cup runners started their career outside Australia. So they're all Europeans who have come here. There's one who is French bred, who's run its whole career here, and then it's an 80 to 1 shot,
disappointing for our
125 to 1 shot. We're just
Yeah.
not geared that way. But the might of the Japanese. So there was a school of thought that Obam Burumai was about 16th in the order of their 3-year-olds. And then as a 4-year-old comes here. So the richest races in the world this year, the Saudi Cup, Japan victory, the Dubai World Cup, Japan victory, the Everest, think about it, the Golden Eagle, Japan victory, the Shima Classic, Japan victory, is that precinct, which we've only seen every now and then. But when it comes here, it's mighty.
So, Aussie, Jared's saying, can you go back and have a look at all the horses that are 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, and can we please buy one?
Yeah.
And I think John Massaro, and I've talked to him at the sales, now Australian breeders are looking to get into the Japanese bloodlines. And Japanese bloodlines, they're leading the way. And Equinox is clearly the best horse in the world at the moment. And Breakup's at a good each-way price, I think, for the Melbourne Cup.
It's a closed shop, isn't it? It's a closed shop. And if you think what they did, I mean, it was probably 25 years ago, they went over with the fattest checkbook and bought Sunday Silence. And the Kentucky Derby winners of Australia have been horrendous. They went and bought Sunday Silence, took him back to Japan, and since then, I mean, they have just gone absolutely gangbusters. And you're right, every time they bring a good horse, you can't line them up, but everyone tells you where they are, and they quite often go, no, that's not our best horse. And they just come and they just beat us. But that's probably the you know what, the Pommers probably think that about us every time we take our Aussie horse. You know what I mean? So
I think the prize money in Japan is so good, though. They're trying to buy horses, and we've actually bought a few out of there over the journey, trying to buy horses out of there and bring them out here without the guys wanting to partner you and be involved is a mistake. Well, it has been for us anyway, and we've done all the form and stuff and gone
why
through.
would they want to let
it.
go of their best ones?
That's the point. I agree. And unless you've got 3 or 4 stars that are running against each other all of the time, and you've got horses that are running fourth consistently.
But I actually think that about the English when you go over there and you buy theirs. I mean, you're going to walk into Hayes and Friedman and Hawkes and Waller and Cummings and all these names. And
what about Kieran May? You left him.
Okay, right. Kieran and David, and who else is yours? Annabelle.
No, I don't have Annabelle. I've trained Natalie.
We don't go and they don't come out here and try and buy our horses because we wouldn't sell them.
The finish of the Golden Eagle. So let's just do the beaten favourites here, Gareth. How is Amelia's Jewel?
She's okay. She was lucky to escape serious injury because when she gets galloped on like that and and deck, there's a chance that can get galloped on and it goes straight through a tendon. And they just missed that part of her leg, which was terrific news. And as Damien Lane pointed out when he headed back to Scale and was interviewed on Sky Racing with the beaten jockeys, he just said, I'm lucky that I've come back alive in a way. I didn't hit the deck. It could have been a lot worse. So if she's okay, she'll probably have a break now and be back for probably, I reckon they'll go to the Quokka first up or second up, and then maybe a trip to Dubai with her.
Okay. When's the Quokka?
The Quokka's in April.
Right.
Yep.
The beaten favourites, the other bit was, so the Everest form wasn't worth anything on Saturday. Think about it, Private Eye got upstaged by Bella Nipotina, who the slot holders didn't put into the race, which amazed me at the time. And Cylinder was the first horse beaten in the Coolmore, and Shinzo was honest, but sort of well beaten in third.
Shinzo ran as good as he could. I still don't understand how they just don't retire these horses. They do it in England. Aiden stands there and goes, "This is the greatest horse I've had since the last one." You know, Chris could have stood there. Chris Waller could have stood there and said, "I can't believe they're retiring this horse." They're worth 20 or 30 million. Why do they want to keep going on with it? But Cylinder, he didn't handle the straight. They'll say he was tired. They'll say that he just,
He
was
pulled
over
up
the
crook
top.
in the steward's report.
Well, that's all. They're all. But you know what? Winners don't pull up crook, do they? It's always the beaten brigade. It's like jockeys say when they say, as I was pulling up, it was a bit raspy in the wind. That's because they're literally grabbing the reins, holding the horses back. So Cylinder punctured up the straight. I've run 100 horses like that up the straight. That's how they run when they don't handle the straight course.
Just going on to Bella Nipotina, she's always a bit fractious at the barriers, so she generally sort of misses it half a length or a length, which always causes a few issues for Willow. Jumped really well, beautiful ride, found the lead, sat up, let him go round, and then waited. She's only got that very, very short sprint,
model
but
of
it's
consistency.
dynamic when she let go. So that was just amazing for Michael Christian and Siobhan and all of that crew, so that was a good result. I thought the Coolmore was a terrific race. And again, we've got this bloody Aussie thing that we want to pot things, and, it just drives me insane. Like, I thought the winner was fantastic. It trolled fantastic down the straight. It was unbelievable the way it jumped out. Second horse probably should have nearly won. Didn't have much luck. Was a great run. Shinzo, we know about it. Slipper winner. I reckon all the horses down to about seventh ran well. I mean, even our little horse Nadal ran sixth. Missed the start, got checked, got smashed, and flew down the outside. He broke, I think, 33 in the tickies last three. So he ran enormous. I thought V8 was good. I've been a potter of that horse. I think coming back from the mile to run that well was really good, and Hazy's horse went enormous. So I reckon across the board it was a really, really good race.
Jared, Bella Nipotina picked up $3.5 million for winning that race on Saturday with the bonus.
Amazing.
Yep.
And that's why she was there and not
100%.
preparing for the champion sprint. So the last hope for the Everest form is In Secret versus Imperatrice on Saturday. So we'll see.
Yeah, the Imperatrice, she wins. She's definitely the best sprinter in the world.
Whoa, here we go.
Yeah, well,
here we go.
Well, she is, because she'll beat
You
up
obviously don't listen to Whateley, do you?
I hope this is on
he
video
said
today
no.
because you've got your
He
Nana's
questioned
jacket
it.
on here today. We don't know what's
because
going
Bella
on with it.
Nipotina defeated her.
Nana's
Think about
jacket.
it. And if
Yeah, it'll be
Imperatrice
snowy on
beats
the
In
tram or
Secret by a
something.
couple of lengths, she's the best sprint in the world.
But why did Moods put I Wish I Win in the paddock? Anyway, I don't want to digress today. Righto, the best of it, the yes, yes, yeses.
Yes, 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 yes.
Gareth.
Josh Parr, loved his interview with Emma Freedman on Channel 7. He's everything that I love racing for, Josh Parr, and he spoke so well. He's so respectful to everybody. He deserves all the success that goes his way. And then $500,000 of the money won by the Japanese horse goes straight to the Disability for Riding. So that's the charity that they chose for if they won the race. So they get $500,000 there, which I think's a terrific initiative. D. Oliver, the fairy tale for him to ride two winners there on Derby Day, his final Derby Day. And I thought it was great to see Jamie Carr get a double after the pressure that she's been on so far this spring there, Johnny.
So I've got a couple, Steve Rossich and Neil Wilson. Day one of the carnival, unbelievable guys. Keep it up, fantastic. A yes for Michael Brow, because I gave Moonee Valley a decent pot last
You're
week.
sucking up to the
No, I'm not.
administrators.
Yeah,
today.
you-
You were on the phone for 36
on,
minutes,
I
you told
anyway,
me.
I gave him a
36
big
minutes.
pot. I gave him a big pot based on the fact that, there was issues with TVs and there was issues. He's
internet.
addressed all of that. He called me. He said there were some challenges. They put a tower in the back to try to fix that. They've got an old grandstand. So good on Michael for getting on the front foot and going through that stuff. And he's happy to come on and talk about it. And a special mention to Rachel King and Dick Bates for riding Group 1s. So fantastic for those guys who don't normally get an opportunity in those type of races this time of the year.
Wayne.
I think it was the yes was just the big names stood up on the big day. We've mentioned it a couple of times in the last couple of weeks about the great people and athletes step up on the big days, and it was just great to see those athletes. And
J-Mac.
Yes, who? I spoke about Spacewalk before the race with Gerard, and I said I wasn't sure about Jamie because she hasn't been riding well, and then afterwards the text machine blew up, and to be fair, Miles Fitzner came to my defence and basically said, well, if she was an AFL player, she would have been dropped at some stage during the season. So I was only just calling it how it was. And where it is an amazing industry is, if she rides a winner tomorrow, Jamie Carr, she rides one Oaks Day and pulls a rabbit out the hat, you can just see the Sunday papers, can't you? Where have you been? She hasn't been anywhere. She's lost. So she was lost, but now she's back. But the ironic twist to all this is she's came back on the biggest days racing, and Racing Victoria, well, I'm not going to say pushed it back, but arguably her appeal her case coming up for the front page of the Herald Sun is next Wednesday week. So it would be terrible if she does a massive job this week and we're all building her up come the weekend, and then you get to next Wednesday. I mean, I don't know how that's going to go Wednesday week, and we don't need to get into that now, but I want her to be on the high because I said on the coverage on Saturday, we're better for having Jamie Carr out there kicking the boys' butt. Full stop.
So my yes, Craig Williams, that was absolutely nervous on Bellin and Patina to stay on the spot and wait and then poke that horse's head into the gap and then
Didn't he do that in the Cox Plate as well? He's on fire.
Yeah,
Willow,
he is.
without winning.
And Declan Bates, the initiative, the daredevil tactics to take off, spectacular when you see it. The oh-no's.
Here we go, boys.
Gareth, what have you
Oh-no's.
on the oh-no's?
You're on my firing line, G. I was having a chat to Jane Hawkes in the Marquee the other day. She was ropeable with Gerard Whateley. You threw poor old Jane Hawkes under the bus because Wayne was running late, putting his makeup on, Gerard. And you said on radio that Wayne had to wait for Gerard, and that's why he was late for our
Why didn't
coverage.
he have to wait for Gerard?
Oh,
Why didn't
Gerard
he
had to wait for Jane.
Wayne had to
What
wait
I
for
said,
Jane.
but I
What
only
did you
Jane
say?
Wayne
For no
interpreted
one,
it that
mate.
way.
What did
So
you
I was
say?
trying to make out that you were talking to Michael and gathering all the information for her, and they pressed me. And in the end, I said, well, he was supposed to drop his wife off here at midday, which was to cast no
Takes
aspersions
Wayne a
on
long
her.
time to take in the information.
But the moment
you know.
they
Go
finished
away,
with me, my
Whateley.
phone
Wait,
rang.
go
And that's
away.
from Jane, not from me.
Yes.
Now,
Do you know quickly? Do you
we're
know
in a
quickly?
hurry, yes.
I walked into the box with Gerard late, but I'll get to that in a minute. And he walked in and went, hello, and then he went, oh, hello, Jane. And I said, Jane, he's used to bagging someone and then no one comes in the room.
I was talking
Gotcha,
to
no.
someone at the races and they go, Gareth, can we get a picture because I want to send it to Wayne Hawkes? And I go, how do you know Wayne? He goes, I used to be a manager at Dan Murphy's and Wayne was my biggest client. And I was laughing and he looked at me serious. He goes, no, I'm serious, Gareth. He was my biggest client. And Johnny O'Neill, geez, I love you. I love you because you're a big opinions and I love you how you stand by your opinion, whether they are right or wrong. But this might come back to haunt you a couple of weeks ago. Roll it, Jacko.
I had a look at Riff Rocket in the mounting yard, and for what it's worth, from my opinion, if that horse stays, I'll give up.
If that horse stays, I'll give up. You actually said that, Johnny.
You said
If
the
that
Riff
horse
Rocket. We
stays,
didn't have
I'll
the
give up.
headphones on. That was my fault.
I'll tell you one thing.
Here we go. The rebuttal.
We all know it doesn't stay. It's just J-Mac. He can make anything happen, that bloke. He can make anything happen.
What are your oh-no's?
Righto, so my oh-no's, and be very wary Cup Day, I'm telling you. These international jockeys, and I'm about ready to blow this whole scenario up. If you are not based in Australia, Joe Moreira, can I tell you, he's
on your
based here in
horse.
Sydney. He is based here in Sydney. Went to Japan on the weekend, 11 winners. 11 winners. Rode 6 on Friday and 5 on, 6 on Saturday and 5 on Sunday, or vice versa, and 1 Group 1 winner. Unbelievable. Purton is coming out. Ryan Moore, probably the best rider in the world, is here. Jamie Spencer, 8 rides on the weekend, fell off 4 of them. Sorry. Great bloke, love him. 3 favourites,
you
no
do.
good. Jamie and Holly Doyle, All wonderful international riders, hit and runs, Australian racing, different conditions, sun's out.
He must be a
Leave
good
me
bloke,
out.
Jamie Spencer.
Leave me out.
He must be a good
Thank
bloke,
you.
Jamie Spencer.
He's a good
'cause
bloke. He's a
geez,
ripper.
He gets a lot of opportunities. Wayne.
That was a big catchment. A big catchment. Wayne?
J-Mac could be sick if he's listening, thinking that you're wrapping up Joe Moreira more than him.
Yeah. Well, he'll run
Right.
second.
I've got 2 oh-nos. The first one is the traffic. I live 9 minutes from Flemington.
Get a helicopter.
53. They don't come from Essendon, you idiot. I live in Essendon. You know where I live. That's right. So it took 53 minutes to get there. Now, I spoke to Steve Rossich last year and he said, well, it's the council and it's the police and whatever, but we've got to do something about this. It is a public holiday in Melbourne tomorrow. And yes, coming over the Balti this morning, there was no traffic and Rasputin from Boney M was playing an ice house and I had the window down, the wind blowing through
Were
my
you
hair.
concentrating on the road, Wayne?
There was nothing on the
Right,
road, so
okay.
tomorrow the traffic won't be as bad. But but we have to fix this traffic because people spoke about an hour and a half to get in.
An hour and a half to get out.
Well, it was an hour. It doesn't matter as much getting out.
Just for
but
what
we
it's
need
worth,
to fix it.
the traffic will be worse tomorrow, not better.
Oh, really?
Yeah, there's more people.
What
go
planet
on,
have you been living on,
Go
Wayne?
on. What's your second? Oh, no.
Wayne, if you own
Come
half
on,
of
come on.
Puckle Street, mate, that's your problem. Move out of Puckle Street, mate. It's always been busy.
Imagine you over the Westgate with that
All right,
cocky
boys,
hair
Second
going.
oh no.
The other oh no is if anyone saw it, and you probably didn't, go and watch the replay of the last in Sydney on Saturday.
It's just a-
yes, I'm putting my own hat on, but fair income.
Jeez, I was on the leader. Home you go, the
7
leader.
Zach Purton. It is not a barrier trial.
Lloyd.
Zach Lloyd. It's not a, why Golden 60 was on the TV. I'm looking at Hong Kong. Sorry. Zach Lloyd, horrendous. now, you know what?
It's just a
Now,
kid,
you know what?
mate.
He's only a kid,
I
mate.
don't
Give him a
care.
break. He's a kid.
I don't care. If you want to be in a man's world, step up to the plate.
Wow.
Jamie Carr gets no concession for being a female,
No.
so she has to match it with the boys. If you want to get out there, have a look at the last in Sydney on Saturday, and if I'm wrong, text in, tell me how bad I am, but that was spew material.
It's pretty bad.
Spew.
It's pretty bad. All right, big race integrity, the Melbourne Cup coming up next. So the modern Melbourne Cup, 20 of the 24 runners tomorrow started their careers outside Australia. If you want to have a cup runner, you've got to find a way to buy into something from offshore. That's where we find ourselves. The race reinvents itself, and that's where it is in the modern era. John O'Neill, you've played a big role in this. What sort of cup have we got assembled tomorrow?
Well, I think the challenge in all of these races, Gerard, and it probably goes without saying, you really want to look for the horses that are definitely going to stay, but horses have got to be in reasonably good form too. And just looking at the overall race, there's probably 4 horses that can win the race, and then there's probably 5 or 6 that can sort of fight out some placings, and that's about it. The rest are going to be beaten a fair way based on current form, based on track conditions. You've got a lot of international horses, as you said. There's 20 of the 24 that started their career over there. Most of those horses that started their career over there would have been running on what we would classify as softer, heavier style tracks with their form. We see that with the favourite as well. Like his best form is definitely on affected ground. So look, I think across the board, Gold Trip with a weight, I personally don't think can win. I don't think Without a Fight will stay. I think Breakup, Japanese Blood, rock hard tracks, drawn a shitty gate, but it'll push forward anyway, as they always do. Vauban's obviously the key, but I'm concerned about the hard track and the warm day. Solcombe, if we can get his barrier manners right with the blinkers off, is definitely a live chance, loves rock hard. And then you start to go through Ash Run, who hasn't had a run for 2.5 years. He'll definitely stay. He'll definitely be there. There's no doubt about that. And really, future history, it's over. I don't really know. I've got nothing else to say. So, we're really hoping Solcombe can run well, and I would imagine the Japanese horse, potentially Absurd, but, it's fair to say that Vauban's got it covered by 7 or 8, 10 lengths, Gerard.
So the curiosity of yesterday is after the barrier draw, Vauban was 320, and I'm starting to think, he's going to get into So You Think territory. He's going to run 280. And then yesterday, Absurd, the stablemate's $34 into $12, and Vauban's out to actually just a proper Melbourne Cup price now at about $4.40.
He'll start between 5 and 6, or between 4 and 6 somewhere, Vauban, depending on how he parades. If he gets hot in the yard, he'll drift out. If he parades nice and calm, he'll probably stay around that $4 quote. I think he's the horse to beat. I think Vauban from without a fight, absurd for third, Gold Trip for fourth. Break up not far off them, and I think Right You Are is the best roughie. Solcombe will be out the back. Sorry, Johnny.
No, you're wrong. Solcombe wins.
Oh, used to the love affair, the unlikely.
Nothing to do with him.
Yes,
Don't care. Solcombe wins.
You do care about me, Wayne, but in this
instance, I don't care. But I don't have a runner, so I just think Solcombe blinkers off and he jumps. This time last year, we sat here and we went, White Marlin and Solcombe, holy Toledo. We found the two greatest stayers we've seen since the last greatest stayer. Solcombe will run the trip.
Where's the
Simple
party?
as that. Where's the party?
Osborne, of course.
The Osborne, of course it is.
only for people that selected in the first five.
Thank you.
I don't think you'll be in the queue outside, mate. That's where you'll be.
I like that a lot.
You're straight.
Yeah.
You're straight in, Jared. Don't worry. You're VIP.
I'm just
You too, Hawksy.
rearranging my top five now, just in case.
Imagine Jared at the Osborne, Benny Allen. Here's your drink card, Jared.
Can we get some security there, though? They might want to punch me.
All right, something for the battlers coming up next. We still have to explain the concept of this to Wayne. We'll see if we
What?
can drill it in
Huh?
next. John O'Neill's giving you Jimmy Star. Wayne Hawks is not giving you Wild Planet. Do you understand what this segment is about, Wayne?
Yes, sir.
All right. Something for the battlers, John?
I've got a couple.
Oh.
Got a couple, and we can bet tomorrow. You can have something in race 2 tomorrow on a horse called Forgot You. Blake Shin is riding in enormous form. He's pretty confident we can get the money there. And once you've got a little bit there, you can have it all on Keren's horse in the last, Chorlton Lane. We'll get a lovely run, just sweep over the top at about $3.80 or $4, and then straight to the Osborne and watch
from the
Benny
cup.
Allen spin the discs and get on the party time.
Wayne?
I've got to wait till Saturday because I'm a bit light during the week. But Pesto and the Queen Elizabeth, he had luck in the Bendigo Cup. It was called No Luck. And Airman, he gets, no one's talking about him, but Airman down the straight at Flemington in the sprint on Saturday.
Admitted Mr. Waterville pounding in Sholton Lane at Flemington.
Could you say those again?
So Admitted in the first, Mr. Waterfield in the staying race, Pounding in the second, and Sholton Lane in the last at Flemington.
Right. There's plenty to work with for the battlers.
Yep.
See you all at Flemington.
Good luck to the curator putting 4 inches on it this afternoon.
See you Wednesday for the Cup.
Thank you,
Masters.
Jared. Good luck.